Nobody told you this part of the story, but today I'll tell you everything.
Welcome to Eternal Moments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start.
In 1966, during the Vietnam War, a United Press photographer captured this image titled "The Invisible Enemy." In it, American soldiers advanced through the dense undergrowth, unaware that the true danger lurks beneath the jungle's silence. The photo depicts the invisible fear, the enemy that cannot be seen yet is everywhere. It is a stark portrait of bewilderment, of a terrain that devours men and hope alike. This image, taken in 1945 by Allied soldiers, shows the interior of the Führer bunker, Adolf Hitler's last refuge before his downfall. Amidst shattered walls and absolute silence, the victors found the remnants of the end of an era. Every corner seemed imbued with the weight of decisions that changed the world. It is a photograph that captures the precise moment when absolute power turns to ruin. In 1920, in the heart of Westminster Abbey, lay the remains of the unknown soldier's attack, covered in flowers and silence. He represented all the men who never returned from the battlefield, those without names or graves. On November 11th, Armistice Day, he was laid to rest with full royal honors and the tears of the people. This colorized image revives the solemn moment when an entire nation paid tribute to its unsung heroes. April 1942, a Japanese-American World War I veteran arrives at an internment camp in his own country. He had served with honor under the flag that now viewed him with suspicion. His uniform, once a symbol of bravery, no longer protects him from collective fear. This photo encapsulates one of history's most painful paradoxes: loyalty betrayed by prejudice. In August 1945, in Hiroshima, a witness to hell looks on with eyes that reflect the brilliance of 1,000 suns. That gaze belongs to someone who saw day turn to fire and the city to dust. The phrase "brighter than 1,000 suns" describes not only the explosion, but the impossible brilliance of human horror. This photo immortalizes the moment humanity grasped the true power of its own destruction. In 1972, the survivors of the plane crash in the Andes faced the unimaginable: 72 days trapped in snow, hunger, and death. Without food and without hope of rescue, they made the most extreme decision: to feed on those who were already dead. That tragedy became a brutal lesson in the human instinct to survive. This photo shows not only those who returned, but also the strength of the spirit that refuses to die. On November 11, 1921, President Warren G. Harding dedicated the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, a sacred shrine to honor nameless heroes. Beneath its white marble rest those who gave their lives without leaving an identity. Each sentinel guarding it represents the eternal respect of a grateful nation. This image commemorates a century of silence, courage, and memory that will never fade. In 1967, an aerial view captured the Cuyahoga River spewing plumes of industrial design into Lake Erie in Cleveland. The water looked more like fire than current, a symbol of the price of unchecked progress. 2 years later, the river would literally burst into flames, awakening America's environmental conscience. This image is a portrait of an era when nature paid the price for human growth. In this colorized photograph from the 1940s, Joseph Stalin is seen smiling, even joking, a rarity in a man feared by millions. Behind that relaxed expression lurks the architect of purges, famines, and enforced silences. It is the human mask of a leader who wielded power with an iron fist. The image, as commonplace as it is unsettling, shows that even dictators know how to laugh before giving orders. In 1863, an enslaved man named Peter appeared before doctors in Baton Rouge, displaying the scars that covered his back. Each mark bore witness to years of torture, suffering, and resistance. The photograph, published during the Civil War, shocked the world and helped reveal the brutal reality of slavery in the United States. It is one of those images that not only makes you look at it, but screams the truth that many wanted to silence. On June 27, 1885, General and former President Ulysses S. Grant was photographed writing his memoirs just a month before his downfall. Gravely ill, he endured the pain solely to secure his family's financial future. Every word he wrote was a battle against time and death. This colorized image shows a hero who, even in the end, continued to fight, wielding his pen as his last sword.
44, the largest invasion in history began. D-Day. Thousands of Allied soldiers crossed the English Channel to the beaches of Normandy, under a hail of fire and steel. This colorized photograph captures the moment when freedom began to break through the waves. Each figure on the sand represents pure courage, knowing that this day would change the fate of the world. In 2003, an American soldier walks through the opulent halls of Saddam Hussein's palace in Iraq, a fallen symbol of a recently defeated regime. The marble and gold contrast with the dust of war and the silence of empty power. This image reflects the precise moment when opulence turns to ruin. A personal empire crumbled, now viewed through the eyes of the victor. In 1945, the legendary British pilot Eric Winkle Brown flew a Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet, the only operational rocket plane of World War II. It was a machine as fast as it was dangerous, capable of reaching unprecedented speeds, but almost impossible to land alive. This rare photograph captures the mix of innovation and madness that defined that era. A glimpse into the future of aviation, born from the fires of war. In 1984, North Korean leader Kim Il-sung visited the tomb of the unknown soldier in Warsaw, Poland, during a diplomatic tour of Eastern Europe. The image shows a man surrounded by solemnity, laying flowers at a monument dedicated to the fallen. It is a curious portrait, a dictator paying homage to the sacrifices of other peoples. Between diplomatic gestures and symbolism, the photo reflects the calculated coldness of politics at the height of the Cold War. In 1983, National Geographic photographer Steve McCurry ventured into the monsoon storms of Gujarat, India, to capture the untamed force of nature. Under torrential rains and flooded roads, his camera found poetry in the chaos. This image shows him in the thick of it, soaked to the bone, yet focused, searching for the story behind every drop. It is the portrait of a man who transformed rain into art and reality into pure emotion. In 1898, in Wilmington, North Carolina, a group of armed insurgents posed in front of the ruins of the Daily Record newspaper, owned by a black community. That uprising was, in reality, a racial coup, the only one in the history of the United States. Dozens died, and the multiracial government was forcibly overthrown. This photograph, frozen in time, shows the day that hatred burned not only a building, but also the hope of an entire city. In 1957, a llama strolling through Times Square stole the show amidst taxis, neon signs, and elegant suits. The surreal scene seemed straight out of a movie, a piece of the Andes walking through the heart of New York. In reality, the animal was part of a television production of the time. This photo combines humor and wonder, reminding us that even the city that has seen it all can still be surprised. Taken in 1918, this photograph shows an unidentified soldier from World War I, captured in a moment of stillness amidst the chaos. His gaze, weary yet resolute, reflects the millions who fought namelessly. No one knows who he was or if he ever made it home, but his image has become a symbol of all those who gave their all without recognition. It is the anonymous face of sacrifice, immortalized by time
and memory. In July 1944, during Operation Bagration, thousands of captured German soldiers were paraded through the streets of Moscow in what was called the Parade of the Defeated. Exhausted, covered in dust, and humiliated, they marched past crowds celebrating revenge for years of invasion. The scene was both propaganda and punishment, a demonstration of Soviet power at its zenith. This photo captures the moment the war changed hands and pride. In 1950, after the UN offensive that recaptured Incheon, a Korean boy encounters an American soldier amidst the city's smoldering ruins. Innocence and war intersect in a silent gaze that speaks louder than weapons. Behind them, the rebel tells the story of a city reclaimed at an immeasurable price. This image embodies the enduring contrast between human destruction and the hope that still survives among the wreckage. In 1936, at the height of Nazism, Jesse Owens defied the ideology of Aryan supremacy by winning 4 gold medals at the Berlin Olympics. Before Hitler's eyes, an African-American athlete became a living symbol of equality and excellence. His speed shattered records and prejudices simultaneously. This photograph immortalizes the moment when a single man defeated propaganda with his own 2 legs. On February 14, 1981, in Centralia, Pennsylvania, 12-year-old Todd Domboski fell into a massive sinkhole that suddenly opened beneath his feet. That hole was a fissure leading to hell. Below, a coal mine, which had been burning for nearly 2 decades, was ablaze. Miraculously, Todd survived, but the incident revealed the hidden disaster beneath the town. This image marks the day Centralia began to disappear, swallowed by its own eternal fire. During World War I, around 1914, a German shell lodged in a tree without exploding. Soldiers placed a sign on it that read, "Beware of death." The scene blends dark humor and tragedy in a single frame, a moment of calm in the face of a dormant danger. This image encapsulates the absurdity of war, where even trees learn to silently bear the weight of bombs. In 1938, crowds lined up to receive free radios on the birthday of Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels. It wasn't an innocent gift, it was the perfect tool to fill homes with the voice of the regime. These devices, called Volksempfänger, became the most powerful means of mind control of the era. This image shows how the dictatorship not only dominated with weapons, but with words that no one could ignore. In 1938, a German crowd lines up to receive free radios on the birthday of propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels. Behind the generous gesture lay a strategy to bring Hitler's voice into every home. These small devices would become the regime's megaphone, spreading fear, pride, and obedience. This photo reveals how the manipulation began with something as simple as turning on the radio. This colorized image features Grigory Rasputin, the enigmatic Russian mystic whose influence on the imperial family shaped the fate of the Romanovs. His hypnotic gaze and unsettling presence fueled legends of power, madness, and manipulation. Adored by some and feared by others, he was assassinated in a plot as violent as his reputation. This photo seems to contain the very mystery of a man who refused to die several times over. Taken in Brazil around 1860, this photograph shows a white woman posing with her slaves, a scene that reveals the brutal normalcy of slavery in South America. Behind the apparent calm lies a story of pain, inequality, and silenced resistance. Each face in the image tells a story of a life forced into servitude. It is a visual reminder of a time when humanity was measured by the color of one's skin. In February 1943, the ruins of Stalingrad became the scene of the fiercest urban combat of World War II. Amid the smoke and rubble, every building was a trench and every shadow an enemy. The devastated city marked the breaking point of Nazi power in the East. This image captures the frozen hell where the Soviet victory was born of sacrifice and total destruction. On June 22, 1940, in Compiègne, the French delegation met to sign the armistice with Nazi Germany, sealing France's defeat. Ironically, Hitler chose the same railway carriage where Germany had surrendered in 1918, seeking a cruel historical revenge. The tense faces of the French reflect humiliation and resignation in the face of the inevitable. This image symbolizes how in war, even the setting can become an instrument of vengeance. In 1880, a delegation from the Apsaluke, Crow people, traveled to Washington, D.C. to negotiate with the U.S. government. Dressed in their traditional attire, they represented the dignity of a nation fighting to preserve its territory and identity. Facing a world that sought to erase them, they posed with pride and resolve. This photograph bears witness to an unequal encounter between indigenous diplomacy and colonial power. On June 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong took that small step that became a giant leap for mankind. With millions watching from Earth, his footprint was etched in the lunar dust and in history. The image captures the moment when humanity's impossible dream to walk on another world became a reality. It is the eternal symbol of human curiosity conquering the silence of the cosmos. On June 6, 1944, on D-Day, Allied soldiers landed on the beaches of Normandy under devastating enemy fire. This iconic photograph, titled "Into the Jaws of Death," shows the moment they advanced into the unknown, knowing that many would not return. Each wave brought equal parts hope and sacrifice. Colorized, the image revives the raw courage of those who literally walked into the jaws of death to liberate the world.
In 1978, the iconic Hollywood sign still bore the marks of time. Broken, peeling letters, worn down by neglect. That view, captured by Darius Idala, marked the end of an era before its final restoration. What was once a real estate advertisement had become a global symbol of cinema and dreams. This image shows the moment the myth was on the verge of crumbling before being reborn, shining brightly on the hills. At Christmas 1944 in New York, thousands of carefully wrapped packages awaited a devastating stamp, "Return to Sender." They were gifts sent by families to soldiers who had already died or gone missing in action. Each box contained not only presents, but love that would never reach its destination. This image, as silent as it is painful, shows the invisible price of war. Hope held captive in a postal warehouse. In the summer of 1945, shortly after the German surrender, a group of USO, United Services Organizations, members posed in front of the German Messerschmitt P-1101 V1 prototype in Oberammergau, Bavaria. This experimental aircraft, ahead of its time, represented the Luftwaffe's latest technological achievement. Behind the group smiles, a sense of wonder at the engineering of the recently defeated enemy still lingered. The photograph captures the transition between the end of a war and the beginning of a new aviation era. In 1979, South Korean intelligence chief Kim Jae-gyu was forced to reenact on camera the assassination of President Park Chung-hee, his former friend and ally. The almost theatrical scene reveals the coldness with which the state reconstructed its own betrayal. Kim had justified the crime as an attempt to liberate the country from dictatorship. A year later, he and his accomplices were executed. This photo captures the moment where loyalty and power collided in blood. In 1946, in McMinn County, Tennessee, a group of World War II veterans returned from the front only to find their town rife with corruption and police brutality. Fed up with the abuses, they took up arms in what became known as the Battle of Athens, seizing control of the town hall and restoring local democracy. It was a brief but historic rebellion, a literal defense of free voting.
This image reminds us that even in peacetime, heroes continue to fight for justice. Around 1915, in the midst of World War I, a group of German soldiers pose for a photograph, perhaps seeking a moment of normalcy amidst the mud and bombs. Their faces blend youth, exhaustion, and a hope that the war would soon extinguish. Colorization brings to life a moment frozen in time, when they still believed they would soon return home. This image is an intimate portrait of humanity that survives even in the midst of horror. In 1968, during the bloody Battle of Hue, British photographer Don McCullin captured the empty face of a U.S. Marine lost amidst the noise and madness of war. Dubbed the 1,000-yard stare, the soldier's gaze reflects the trauma and detachment of someone who has seen too much. He has no name, but he embodies all those who left their minds on the battlefield. This photograph became one of the most raw and human portraits of the Vietnam War. In 1983, a member of the U.S. Coast Guard explored the tunnels of Iwo Jima, nearly 40 years after one of the fiercest battles in the Pacific. All around him lay unexploded shells and the human remains of fallen Japanese soldiers. Time seemed to have stopped underground, where the war silently continued. This image is a journey into the past to a battlefield that never truly ended. In 1944, at the heart of Nazi horror, the Angel of Death, Joseph Mengele, appears smiling alongside other SS officers. His calm expression contrasts sharply with the atrocities he committed at Auschwitz, where he performed inhuman experiments on prisoners. The photograph is chilling. It shows the executioner in a moment of leisure, as if evil could pose for the camera. It is one of those images that reveals the most disturbing aspect of humanity: the banality of evil. In 1983, during the U.S. invasion of Grenada, 2 U.S. soldiers point their weapons at 3 alleged members of the People's Revolutionary Army in St. George's. The tension of the moment is palpable on their faces. Victors and vanquished, caught in the confusion of a blitzkrieg. The operation, presented as a liberation, also sparked international controversy. This image captures the instant when global politics materializes on the edge of a rifle.
In the forests of Germany, in April 1945, a U.S. soldier from the 12th Armored Division escorts several German prisoners toward the end of World War II. The dejected faces of the captives contrast with the tense serenity of the Allied soldier, a symbol of the impending collapse of the Third Reich. The silent, historically charged scene reflects the end of an era of destruction and the beginning of the German surrender. A group of 4 recently orphaned children wait in the county prosecutor's office after recounting the murder of their parents. The family, traveling on Route 66 in Arizona in 1961, was attacked while sleeping during a rest stop. The children's confused and frightened faces reflect the brutality of the crime that took everything from them in a single night. This image is a heartbreaking portrait of innocence confronted by tragedy and the dark side of the American dream on the highways of the 20th century. The photograph captures the end of an era in Times Square during the 1990s, when Mayor Rudolph Giuliani launched his famous cleanup campaign against crime and adult entertainment venues. The sign ironically reads, "What a great 35 years," as one of the last gay theaters on 42nd Street closes its doors. What was once a symbol of freedom and counterculture is transformed under the pressure of gentrification and moral control. This image marks the moment when the chaotic nighttime Times Square gives way to the touristy, family-friendly version we know today. On September 2, 1945, General Douglas MacArthur witnessed the formal surrender of Japan aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. Beside him, General Wainwright observed the signing that ended World War II. The historic act brought together Allied and Japanese delegations, marking the definitive end of the most devastating conflict of the 20th century. This colorized image revives that solemn moment of peace and victory. An aerial view of Times Square, taken on August 17, 1978, shows the vibrant heart of New York City before its great transformation. The neon signs, yellow taxis, and constant bustle reflect an era of urban chaos and overflowing energy. It was a time when the area still retained its reputation for decay and danger, but also its iconic charm. This image captures the raw, authentic soul of the city that never sleeps. Tsar Nicholas II inaugurates the first State Duma of Russia at the Winter Palace on May 10, 1906. It was an attempt to ease tensions following the 1905 revolution by granting the people a limited voice in government. However, power remained concentrated in the hands of the Tsar, generating frustration among reformers. This session would mark the beginning of a turbulent political period that would end with the fall of the Russian Empire.